Assalamualaikum and hi! I'm Aleena Zaara binti Ahmad Norzaki from SK Kampong Bharu. I love reading English novels. In this video, I would like to review my favorite novel entitled Oliver Twist. It is written by a famous English writer, Charles Dickens. This English classic is about a young orphan named Oliver Twist. Since he was born, Oliver grew up in several workhouses. He was abused and starved in the workhouses. When he turned 9, Oliver fled to London. In London, he was taken by a man named Fagin. Oliver was taught to be a pickpocket. After that, Oliver was taken by rich and kind Mr. Brownlow. However, that didn't last long. He fell back into Fagin's trap. Fagin and his partner made Oliver to rob a huge mansion owned by Mrs. Maylie. Then, Oliver was accidentally shot by Mrs. Maylie's doctor. Oliver stayed in Mrs. Maylie's house and he got treated by the doctor. This was the turning point of the story, which everything about Oliver was revealed. This novel was built on many characters, but let's talk about the main characters first. Oliver. To Oliver's character, he was portrayed as a helpless orphan. Since he didn't get much exposure about his surroundings, people took advantage of him. This novel also features many evil characters such as Fagin, Bill Sikes, monks, Mr. and Mrs. Mumble. They manipulated homeless children and orphans for their crimes. Nevertheless, the most exciting character in this novel is Mr. Brownlow. He supported Oliver in many aspects. Besides that, he led the fight against the villains. Hands down, Mr. Brownlow is my favorite character. Even though this Oliver Twist was originally written by Charles Dickens, the language in this novel had been adapted and simplified by Subhojit Sanyal. The language is simple and easy to be understood. This is to ensure that this masterpiece could be enjoyed by young readers. As a young non-native English speaker, I feel so happy to enjoy this novel. The plot of this novel is very interesting. It began with Oliver's mother was giving birth to him. Then, the plot expanded to unfortunate events in Oliver's life. After that, a woman named Old Sally told the truth about Oliver's mother. At the same time, the villains plotted crimes to frame Oliver. At the end of the story, Oliver unrevealed the truth about his biological parents. He also found out that Mrs. Maylie and her adopted daughter, Rose, were his flesh and blood. Fagin was found guilty and he was sentenced to death. Finally, Oliver was adopted by Mr. Brownlow, and they lived happily. In my opinion, the plot is like a roller coaster of feelings. It played with sadness and happiness. It also made me feel so hopeful. The settings of this novel is in London during Victorian era. Dickens began writing Oliver Twist in 1837 after the adoption of the Poor Law of 1834, which halted government payments to organizations that were helping the poor unless they entered workhouses. Thus, Oliver Twist became a vehicle of social criticism aimed directly at the problem of poverty in London around 19th century. This novel highlights on Oliver's perseverance in facing the adversity in life. In addition to that, we must also be responsible and have more empathy towards the poor. I would like to recommend this novel for young readers. We might also gain some insight on culture and lifestyle during the Victorian era in London. Besides, the use of English language in this novel is suitable for young readers. Last but not least, this novel will spark our mind to think about our responsibilities and contribution towards a community living in poverty. I really hope that one day all people around the world would be able to live comfortably. That's all for now. I hope you enjoy my book review. Goodbye!